Hopefully we'll get this done today. We're gonna measure the measurements of the EKG. This looks pretty good on my tablet. So the first thing is you're gonna do is look over your all of your EKG, and you're gonna find your biggest P wave. And the P wave that you find easiest to measure. I think the biggest one, like we see down here, is in lead 2. And what you're going to do is start at the baseline and go to the top. And, oh man, where did my calibers go? Okay, and what you do is wherever you mark that, that's where you want to put your points of calibers. Okay, so we're gonna go put one point here and bring the other one down to our other mark. Go to a place where it's very clear, and you can see that that P wave is 2 millimeters tall. It's a vertical measurement. So you're gonna write P equals 2 millimeters. And always do that so I can measure where you measure, okay? The next place is you're gonna measure your PR. Your P is vertical. Your PR This is my first video, so I'm doing the best I can. Your PR is vertical. Your P is vertical. Your PR is horizontal. Okay? So, generally, I usually measure my PR in the same lead, because if I see that PR real good, and that the P in that real good, that means I'm going to see the P R. So this is lead 2. So I go at the onset of the P to the onset of the R. And then I go horizontally. I take it to a clear place, and that's one big square. And one big square horizontally is 0.20 of a second. Be sure you put your point, be sure you put your second, and be sure you show me where you measure. Now, we're going to divide this EKG into chest leads and limb leads. Okay? So these are your limb leads. These are your chest leads. Okay? These are your chest. And the first thing we're going to do next is we're going to measure the QRS, and we're going to measure it 3 times. The first time we're going to measure it vertically. Okay? Horizontally. Okay? So we're going to do any one that you see good is going to be fine, okay? Because we're measuring horizontally, that means how long did it take for the ventricles to depolarize. So we get our calibers, we put 1 point here, 1 point here, and we look, and we got 2 little squares horizontally and 2 little squares horizontally, which each square is 0.4, then 2 little squares is going to be 0.08 of a second, okay? But we got to measure our um, we gotta measure our EKG, the QRS, and the limb lead, and also in the chest leads, okay? So the way we do that is we find the tallest one. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one. So in your limb leads, this would be the tallest one in lead one. So we're gonna start at the top of the R to the bottom of the R. This is a vertical measurement, so we're gonna do millimeters. Okay? So we're gonna go QRS, limb leads, vertical, chest leads, vertical. Okay? Now, the tallest one, we're gonna put one caliber on here and one caliber here. And that's gonna be one big square, two big squares, and two little squares. So that's vertical. So one big square is 5. Then another big square will make 10, and two little squares will make 12. So we're going to put QRS 12 millimeters. Then we're going to go over here on the chest leads, and we're going to find the tallest QRS. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So I think it's this one. We're going to start at the top of the R and go to the bottom of the R. We're going to take our calibers and move them in. And let's see how many big squares we get. 1, 2, 3. That's 15. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 left over. That's going to be 17. So we're going to say QRS is 17 millimeters, and that's normal, okay? Now, we're going to do the QT, and that's ventricular D and repolarization. And anywhere you want to measure this is fine, where you can see the Q at the end of the T. Okay? I'm sorry y'all didn't see that. Let me do it over. We're going to do the Q to the end of the T. Am I doing that? Let me see if y'all seeing it. Okay. Now, Q to the end of the T, okay? It's a horizontal measurement. That means how long did it take? So we got 2 big squares, right? So if it's horizontally, then 1 big square is 0.20, 2 big squares is 0.40, okay? So you're going to measure your QT horizontally, okay? You got one last measurement, your T wave. You're going to measure it in the limb leads, and you're going to measure it in the chest leads. So T wave is vertical. So we're going to go millimeters, and we're going to find the biggest one. Excuse me. So I think the biggest one is right here. In lead 1, you're going to start at the baseline and go to the top. And you're going to put T wave. You're going to take your calibers. You're going to put 1 point on one mark, one on another. Take it to a clear place. And that's 4 little squares. And 4 little squares is 4 millimeters, which makes it normal. Then we're going to go over to the chest leads. And I think this one is the biggest one. So I go from the baseline to the top. I'm going to write T wave. And I go from this to this. And I measure it. And it's like one big square plus one little square. So the T wave is equal to 6 millimeters. And you finish measuring. See how simple that was? It took me what? 10 minutes? You're going to do great. And I'll show you a little trick while we at it. You're going to get these rate rulers. And you're going to put an R as your reference points and count over 1 QRS, 2 QRSs. And then you're going to see exactly what the rate is, and it's like 87. Okay? This is absolutely great. Thank you. Now, I got to figure out how you cut it off.